Hello, I'm Howard Cannon. I want to share with you my vision for the state of Alabama and this country, and why I think each and every one of us can lead during this time of crisis for our communities. At the end of this short, low-budget audio presentation, I'd like to ask each of you to take a moment to dig deep into the inner workings of your being and determine for yourself if what you see around you currently is what you had in mind. When you were a kid, is this really what you would have ever imagined? I can tell you I sit here before you on this early April morning, 2009, disappointed and angry by what I see. Growing up throughout the 70s and 80s, I never would have dreamt of us being at the point where we are today. We continue to lose so many of our basic freedoms. Our freedom of speech has been stifled. We have removed God from our schools and therefore freedom of religion from our lives. Our right to bear arms continue to be under heavy attack and is now being buried with permits, taxes, and outlandish propaganda. The crooks are more well-armed than ever, and our families are willingly giving up their rightly protections. Governments at all levels have imposed a smorgasbord of taxes, licenses, laws, rules, censorships, bans, and permits, many of which are so complicated they require thumbing through countless hours of legal jargon just to figure out when and where you can fish or whether or not you need to wear a bike helmet or skateboard knee pads. Many of our government leaders at every level are career politicians and attorneys, and that is not good. They continue to make each of the branches of government more confusing to us all, with undue volumes of political and legal wordsmithing that puts us all in a position of not being able to agree on what a 400-page document means or was intended to solve in the first place. Folks, character and integrity have been lost. A person's handshake and word have become worthless. Work ethic has become a cliche, and families and neighborhoods have become fractured. We have allowed this to happen under our watch. We should all look in the mirror and feel a sense of loss, a sense of shame and disappointment. Many of our political leaders have evaded taxes, been convicted of felonies, and have a laundry list of ethics violations. They continue to make false promises over and over again, and we continue to vote them into office. We have allowed shady credit terms and banking rules to rip millions of dollars from all of our personal bank accounts and watched as these fat cat bankers have lived high off the hog in their penthouse suites while wearing their designer suits. We have a huge prison population. In fact, the U.S. has 25% of all of the prisoners in the world. Strange for a country that touts freedom. Many of those prisoners are living better than you and I. They have everything paid for, including full health care benefits and a lot more TV channels than basic cable. Our laws have been built to protect the rights of the crooks and the repeat offenders, as they are innocent until proven guilty. Yet a civil suit places a defendant in a position to spend tens of thousands of dollars to protect his innocence prior to even being heard by any court. He is basically guilty until proven innocent, thanks in large part to frivolous lawsuits, unethical contingency attorneys, and ambulance chasers. Now we have the banks, the insurance companies, the corporate big shots, and others getting bailed out on the back of taxpayers' dimes. Yet we sit by and do nothing as millions of small businesses sink. We did the same thing to the small American farmer a while back. All of this is going on, as no one wants to take on solving the real issues of today. The thousands of the hungry homeless children. Not in Africa, but here across the United States and Alabama. How much hope for any future can any child have if they're hungry? The unemployment of millions of our citizens. The endless number of foreclosures and bankruptcies, with very little light at the end of the tunnel for many. Folks, we have created the world's most powerful military, and when we put them in harm's way, we make them play by silly war game rules. War is not peaches and cream. It is ugly. And when we send a soldier to fight, we need to take the gloves off and let them do what they are sent there to do, as effectively and efficiently as possible, without concern for international or political image enhancement. Wasn't the saying, all's fair in love and war? What has happened to us? The answer is quite simple, really. My grandfather would have said, we forgot to dance with the one that brung us. This country was built on blue-collar values. Work hard, play fair, do what's right, do what you said you were going to do, help your fellow man, clean up after yourself, mind your own business. There is no free lunch. We were built on small business doing business. farmers farming, teachers teaching, and parents, teachers, neighbors, and coaches providing discipline, character, and mentorship to everyone's children, whether they wanted it or not. Capitalism must be left unencumbered so that those that are good at business can thrive and those that are not go out of business, regardless of the size of the organization. Anything else is unfair. Our government should not be playing a role in this matter. Democracy was supposed to stand for freedom of an opinion, freedom of making a choice that best suits you and your family individually. Government was meant to provide us as a society a general roadmap to provide protection to our country and its citizens and provide opportunity and support for our way of life. It was meant to stay efficient and effective and help those who could not help themselves. It was meant to never spend more of the taxpayers' dollars than what it brings in. Government was meant to mind its own business and stay out of the personal decisions of the people. Our Constitution and our Bill of Rights started as a very simple document that offered very simple and easy to understand rights. Now, as the decades have passed, the politicians and lawyers have muddied the waters. The U.S. Constitution has become confusing and cumbersome, and many states have adopted even more confusing and cumbersome constitutions of their own. Alabama's, for instance, is 357,000 words in length. The document is 40 times longer than the U.S. Constitution and is the longest constitution anywhere in the world. We are always told that these sorts of documents provide us our rights as citizens. Trust me, documents like this do not provide us rights. They are built to take rights away. We have too many laws, too big a government, too much wasteful government spending, too much government forced involvement, and nowhere near enough freedoms. I sit here before you in my humble office, wearing my casual jeans and t-shirt unshaven, as I often do. This is who I am and how I am most every day. I can clean up nice enough on occasion too, but I do not change who I am or what I stand for to suit the audience. The high-profile offices of marble floors, slick suits and ties, and well-crafted speeches are what politicians do to give you the politically correct message. That is not who I am or what I do. Trust me, that dog and pony show won't work in these times, and it won't get us any closer to solving the issues that face us all. Alabama is not going to be about who wears the slickest suits and who crafts and repeats the smoothest speeches. Alabama is not going to be about who has the most money to spend on campaign advertising or who has the largest campaign staff. Alabama is going to be about using common sense to solve problems that affect us today. Alabama is going to be about working hard, playing fair, doing what's right, having some fun, and getting things done together. We will look towards the future, as it's important how we leave this state and this country for our children. But our focus will be today, right here, right now, and the things that we must do to get Alabama leading the country back to the land of the free, home of the brave, and the land of opportunity versus the land of subsidies. Alabama will not be led by Republicans or Democrats or any political party. We will not be led by political action committees or big shots of big business. We will not be led by lobbyists or mainstream media. Alabama will be led by moms and dads, grandmas and grandpas, aunts and uncles, teachers, mentors, and coaches, and people from every walk of life, regardless of affiliation, political or otherwise, who aren't in this for some sort of crazy political gain or affiliation, but are in it to make a better life for us all, in every age group, every demographic, who want less hassle, less drama, and a few more smiles. I ask each of you to join me in implementing a few simple good faith rules for folks running for any public office here in the state of Alabama. Number one, no political donations from any one individual or any one entity of more than $200. Let's face it, the people are going to need their own money, and there is no reason to spend countless dollars on elections. The last governor's race here in the state of Alabama dropped a cool $13 million or so, and that is not cool. We have families that could have used that money. Number two, speak off the cuff without a gaggle of speechwriters and editors and advisors, and without spending days and days practicing and crafting your speech so that we know what you are saying is real versus rehearsed. Number three, Stop all the crazy polls to help you make up your mind as to where you stand, just so you can gain popularity votes. Number 4, keep things simple and focus on stuff that matters to us right now. Chances are global warming will have a much smaller impact on us today than the tens of thousands of kids missing meals and the tens of thousands of adults without jobs and health care. Number 5, stop the hoodwinking. Take a stand and stay with that stand regardless of the audience and the vote count. And forget all the sugarcoating. We are not in a position where people need to be confused about your mixed messages. Number 6, if you win, do what you said you would do. And if you lose, still do the best you can to do what you said you wanted to do. It's not about winning the job or winning the office. It's about winning for the cause, for the state, for the country, for our citizens. Number 7, cut government spending on silly stuff and cut all government waste before, during, and after the race. No fancy hotels, no fancy events, no fancy parties, no fancy anything on the taxpayer's dime. If you want to do that, spend your own money on it. Otherwise, ride coach, keep it simple, and be super conservative. Number 8, let the people vote on decisions that may be close, and those decisions that affect us all whenever possible, reasonable, and affordable. Number 9, bring your sense of humor, because we all need it right now, and if this isn't fun, then no one will be interested in solving the problems for very long. I see the vision of what I would like for Alabama, and for that matter, this entire country, to once again become. It is the vision that we probably all dreamt of as children, and I hope and pray that our children still dream of this same vision for their futures. Hope and inspiration, freedom and democracy, safety and community, character and integrity, opportunity and prosperity. This only happens by re-implementing common sense into the fabric of our being and in the whole of our society. Folks, I'm a straight shooting simple human being. I'm not a politician, not from corporate America, not a wealthy elitist, not always politically correct, and far from perfect. I don't have all the answers, especially about how things get done within our government. Of course, based on the results I've seen, I don't think the folks who've been in office have too many of the right answers there either. I'm a small business owner, a husband, a father, a Christian, and I sure have a ton of questions. Questions that smart, hard-working, common people will be able to answer and solve. I'm asking each of you to join me in making Alabama the beautiful and America the land of opportunity that they once were. Be a part of those that demand that we get back to health, prosperity, character, and family values, led by common people for common sense. I ask you for your vote as I run for governor of the state of Alabama. Join me at commonpeopleforcommonsense.org. Thank you.